Hi, I'm Cheryl. I tried my hand at a Shabby Chic card and I think it came out really good. So I'm going to share with you today how to make this card. And I'm using Crumb Cake cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. That's our base. And then I have just some little scraps of the Crumb Cake cardstock, and I've already stamped and cut my little heart embellishment here, and I'll tell you how I did that when I get to that point. And then I have 2 pieces of very vanilla cardstock, and I've cut these at 5.5 by 4 1/4. I have some green ribbon here with a picot edge on it, and that's, let's see, 3/8 of an inch wide. And then I'm using Sharing Sweet Thoughts stamp set, and this is the one that Stampin Up donates the $3 to the Ronald McDonald House charities, and I have a free giveaway going on. And I'll put the where you can see my video about that, because there's some red tape, and I talk about that in the video. So we'll be using that today. It's got that beautiful jar on it. And then from Woodwards, this that's where my heart came from. The heart, the For You. And then also from the dies, I'm using the heart die. So I got the bundle on this. The bundles, they save you a little bit of money if they have a bundle going, and you get it that way. Now this is a Hostess stamp set. It's called Background Bits, and it is really cool. But I'm using right at the top here, it's like a very fine script on it. You could actually skip this if you wanted to, because I'm using the Postscripts background stamp, but I'm just leaving out some parts of this and putting in these words instead. But you can't read them, but it's just a light script. And then from the Birthday Blooms, I'm using this flower, and probably I think I'll put Happiest of Birthdays to You on the inside of the card. I hadn't decided what I wanted to put on the inside. This will be the first time using this stamp. I still have the backing on. So I'll put this off to the side here somewhere. I don't think I have a block. I have so many stamps on blocks. Even though I have a gazillion blocks, I seem to have run out of blocks. You'll need a sponge. We're using a Stampin' Right marker, Daffodil Delight, Basic Black, and Emerald Green. We'll need our snail. We'll need some dimensionals. Put that up there where I can get my hands on it. I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink, and also Crumb Cake. So let's get going on this card. Where to start? I need my Postscript stamp to start out with. Normally I peel the backing off, and then I stick it down on this piece of acrylic I have here, but it worked just fine just sitting on the table, so I'm just going to do it that way right now too. I'm just going to lay it down on the table. I'm going to ink this up with my Crumb Cake, and I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe off some of it. because I want to put my word stamp in there. So I'll take my piece of Very Vanilla and put it down, and just keeping it in place. You don't want that to move. Just rubbing it down. And there we go. See, we've got the nice blank spots there. I can put my words in. Let me put this aside somewhere. So I'll clean that later. And now I'll get my words. My little scripty stamp there. And I'm gonna stamp that there. And there. And we're just filling in where I took off. I don't know if it matters if it's right side up or upside down or what, but let's see. And there we go. So now I have it all filled in. Like I said, you could skip that part if you wanted to and just do the entire thing in the postscripts. I don't know. I just wanted to have those words there. Okay. And then to do this, the little heart, you just take your little scrap of crumb cake, cardstock, and we're going to stamp in crumb cake on it. And this is kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a country heart supposed to be, and it's got like little cross hatching that does not get inked. So you see, it's not like totally filled in. It's supposed to be like this. This is how the stamp is. And so I stamp my heart. Then I'm going to stamp my For You and Memento. The Memento Tuxedo Black. I'll ink that up. And this is because it's a rubber stamp, it's going to be a little hard to line up on here. So you just do the best you can. And if you get over top of it and you see that the top of the stamp covers the top of your heart, you're probably pretty much on the mark. And that came out pretty good that way, you see. So then I would take it to my die cutting machine and put my die over top of this so that's centered inside, because you can see right through the die. It's got the open center, and cut it out that way. But I already did that, so I didn't have to go through all that while the video is running. So now we're going to stamp the jar on our card front here. And I want it kind of towards the bottom. I think I got this one just a little high. So I want to have that a little lower and centered. And we've got to leave some room because we're going to tear the edge of this paper. So you don't want it real close to the bottom. I'd say, for people who like to measure things, it's, let's see, about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Okay. So we've got that stamped, and now we're going to get our flower from the Birthday Blooms set. I'm going to stamp one flower, heading off towards the top right hand corner. I want that one taller, so I went up a little bit here. So again, remember we have to tear the paper. So I'm going to stamp that right there. And then I will stamp this one in the other direction. Well, it's more straight up and down, and a little bit lower. Oh, it didn't stamp right. Well, darn. But you know what? Can I just draw that in? Maybe. Let's see. That looks good. So hopefully yours is stamped and you don't have to draw that in, but I needed my marker anyway because I have to continue my stems because I want my stems to come way down here into the water. Okay, so we're done with the marker. We're done for the moment with the Memento. So I'll close that up just so I don't put my arm in it. And then we're going to color in the flowers a bit. So from the center, we're just going to, with the marker kind of on the side, we're just going to go out. We're not coloring it totally in. And then we'll start at the bottom on this part of the flower and do the same thing. So remember, you're not coloring the whole thing in. We're just doing like little sun rays out from the center. And then along the bottom edge of this petal here. So now we'll get our emerald green. And we are coloring in. We're going to fill in the whole leaf. You can take a little more time with this if you want. I'm just trying to get that color down there fast as I can for the video. And then we do the stems. Okay, so we've got our flowers colored, our stems colored in, and now it's time to tear the edges. And it does make a difference how you tear the edge. If you tear it like this and tear down, then your really rough edge is going to be on the underneath side. So if you tear it up, we'll have a really rough edge, and that's what we want. We want a really rough edge. So I'm just going to start tearing along the edge here, and I'm taking off, oh, I don't know, about, I'll measure it, about a ½ an inch. Here. We're going to do the same thing on the inside of the card. We're going to tear the edge. If you like your Shabby Chic to be a little neater on the edges, you could always tear it downward. But I wanted a really rough edge on this. So I'm tearing up. You wouldn't think about that, would you? That it makes a difference which directions you tear, but it really does. Okay, so all that's garbage. I'm going to get my crumb cake out here. And my sponge, I'll ink that up. And we'll flick paint on, or ink, not paint, all around the edges. Make it good and shabby looking. It makes it kind of makes the paper look aged. Okay, so that's done. And I'm going to do the same thing now on my piece that's going to go on the inside. Trying to go a little fast here. I know this is probably, it's so exciting for y'all to watch me tearing paper. Alright, there we go. Oh, this corner's a little high. Let me tear a little more off here. There we go. And we do the same. Alright, since we're working on the inside of the card, let's get the that stamp. Hope this works. This is since this is the first time I'm using it. I should really try this on a scrap piece of paper first. It's always a good idea to do. I see people do all kinds of crazy things when their stamps are new. That looks good. Like they sand them and all kinds of things. And while I'm not above cutting a stamp, if I think I'm going to use it a lot in several pieces, like if they're like 3 butterflies on one stamp, then I don't have a problem cutting them apart. But taking a sandpaper to my stamp, I don't think I want to do that. Okay, so we've got our inside done. We've got our card base here. Let's put that down. I've got my snail. And put that in here on the inside. It's got a nice edge on it and coordinates with the outside nicely. Now we need to put some ribbon on here. So let me get my ribbon. And when you get ribbon, it most always comes wrapped with this with the plastic stuff. And save that plastic stuff, because it's going to make storing your ribbon a whole lot easier. I'll show you when I'm finished with it. I want my ribbon to go right about there. I need, a good, I'd say 3/4 of an inch I want on either side here. So I'll just cut that off here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of plastic, and my ribbon is coming off the spool this way, so I'm going to put my plastic on and wrap it around the opposite way. I'm just going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to stick it back down, and now my ribbon won't come unspooled in the drawer I keep it in. See? Look at that. See? It's not coming undone. Okay, so now on the back of my card I need to put some snail. Oop. And I'll position it on the front here where I want it. Like so. And then just wrap the ends around to the back and stick it down in that snail I just put down. There. And I'm going to take my little For You heart and a dimensional. Put that on the back of my heart. And I'll put it at a jaunty little angle right there on the ribbon. And then we'll flip this over and we'll put some dimensionals on the back here. We'll pop that up. Put one in the center. Going a little late on my dimensionals because I'm getting low on them. I've got them on my next, I'm going to order them on my next order, but I seem to go through an awful lot of these dimensionals. Peel off all the little backs on these. center that. Okay, make sure that opens the right way. We'll center that on our Crumb Cake card base here. And there we go. So I hope you liked this video. If you'd like to see more of my videos, then be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. If you did like it, hit like, because it's always encouraging to see that people like what I'm doing. And if there are any Stampin' Up products you'd like to purchase using me as your demonstrator, you can do that either through my Facebook page or my website. And as always, I'll have all my materials that I used here listed down below, and the URL to get to that video about the free giveaway I'm doing. So y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.